Alright, it says we're live, so welcome to the GM's Dice. Thanks for showing up to watch, everyone. This is session 13 of At the Edge of the Empire, session titled Rebellion. Title kind of gives away what's going to go on this episode, but you've got to watch to find out all the little details. So we left off last time. Our crew had been on board Momoda the Hutt's ship that he had sent to rendezvous with them, which wasn't the ship that he had told them was coming. When they got on board, they were ambushed by a Dark Jedi or a Sith or some type of Force user. Never really made it known as to who he was affiliated with, other than he was affiliated with Momoda. He was nearly defeated, and Momoda's ship wound up being fired upon while they were fighting. He made a run for it, but not until after he had dropped his lightsaber. Darius went over and picked up said lightsaber, and instead of just picking it up and holding on to it, he picked it up and thought, let's try and turn this thing on and see how it works. And when he did, it went boom. Darius lost his hand. They are all now in the turbo lift, making their way back down to their ship. Darius is bleeding profusely. We start out this session. We start out this session, the four of you, along with your Twi'leks that were captives and are no longer necessarily captives, have made it back onto your ship. You get back onto your ship and you can hear a warning klaxon going off. A womp, 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 and you can hear a klaxon going off, warning you of something going on. What is your first response?
Well, Captain.
There's only the klaxon, right? There's no we're getting shot at or.
Nope, there's just the klaxon at the moment.
So Proto was looking left and right. Who's shooting at us? Who's shooting at us? Is anybody shooting at us? Who's shooting at us?
Go look up to the bridge and see what's going on. That's a proximity alert.
Proto goes to run up the bridge, steadies himself as he slips on a pool of Darius's own blood.
All right. Upon reaching the bridge of the ship, you... Let's see, where's that? Can see this out your front viewport. And
what's
as
that
your
crappy white tea whatever doing there?
As you reach the bridge and you see this out the front viewport, you also hear over the comms. You hear, and you hear a human female, or not necessarily human, but you hear a female voice say in standard, "Yes, Captain, I understand that. We need to speak with the captain of your vessel." And there's a Weequay male who's at the console at the moment. And as you hear this, he turns and sort of looks back to you, Proto.
Proto's gonna
Zara will look at Proto.
Go ahead.
I said Zara just looks at Proto after all this goes on, and she just Turns right towards him.
Yeah. Proto kind of walks up to the weak way and like grabs a piece of his clothing and tries to wipe some of the blood splatter off of his chassis that would be that might be viewable in any viewports. He goes, "Thank you." Turns on the comm. I am droid designation PR0-T0, formerly known as Proto-Russ. I am the captain of this vessel.
And you can hear again. You can hear a Wookiee in the background, and the woman that was speaking a moment ago. She's a droid's the captain. Never mind. She says, it seems that we're getting a beacon coming from your vessel. It seems that you have one of our agents aboard.
Zara makes the motion to turn off the sound on the hollow for the message, and she'll lean over to Proto once she knows that it's quiet and says, "I think it's our Rhodian friend in the back."
With the comms off, he just turns and looks at the Rhodian. He goes, "Well, that's interesting."
The Rhodian, he sort of eyes, his big old black Rhodian eyes, they just sort of get a little bit bigger. The Rhodian sort of snout sort of droops a little bit, and he kind of shrinks down, remembering the torture that Proto is capable of. And he's, yeah, sorry.
And to think, I was going to ask you to join my crew. Well, it looks like we have to sort this out now, don't we? Is Momota's ship still there?
Momota's ship is powering up and taking off.
Tell them to blow it up. No, I'm not even there. Sorry.
Yeah. Like, turning back on the comms. Why, yes, it does seem we have one of your agents here, but we are preoccupied at the moment. The ship powering up currently needs to not be.
Well, I believe we might be able to take care of that. And you hear a click and some static, and you see the four ships that are along with this YT freighter begin to, like, they're all sitting sort of stationary along with this freighter at the moment. They begin to sort of do this spiral maneuver flying around the ship, and each one of them sort of breaks off and heads what looks like, I mean, looking through the viewport, it looks like they're heading towards you, but with the way you're docked with Momota's ship is just directly above yours. And as each one comes flying past the cockpit or the bridge of your ship, each one's firing. Momota's ship taking damage, but still moving off at the moment. You lose view of the four fighters, and through your sensor readouts, you can see that Momota's ship is still making headway and disappears from sensor range. You don't feel any explosion. You don't hear any explosion or feel any rocking or anything. So the natural assumption would be that they made it to their jump point and hit light or hyperspace.
Well, that's unfortunate.
The static over your comms ends. You hear the female voice again. She says, "Okay, this is the MOA again. Your troubles have left for the time being. We were unable to shut them down or to stall them, but I don't think they'll be back anytime soon. Now, the business of our operative that is aboard your vessel.
Yeah, I'm cutting her off and like not even paying attention to what she's saying. Proto just utters, "That's unfortunate. I wanted to kill the Jedi that chuffed my chassis."
Chuffed your chassis. Okay, did you kill the comms or did you just say
No,
that?
no, he just sort of like blurted that out over the comms.
Okay. And she sort of pauses when you say this. And she says, "There was a Jedi aboard that ship?"
Yes, yes, yes. Fearful man, really.
You can hear sort of muffled, like somebody's put their hand over a microphone or a speaker, but you can hear her say, "Okay, make sure you note that," like she's talking to someone else. And she comes back on and she says, "Now, our operative," she says, "we're unfortunately unable to dock with your vessel and make any sort of exchange here and now. But if you'd follow us, we have a base that's not too far off where you could dock and we could make our transition there."
Well, Captain,
You're muted.
you're muted, Nelson.
Okay, Proto will do that and mute the comms and sort of turn to his crew, turn and face the Rhodian, and make a motion like he's thinking, like how most organics do, holding his chin. "Well, we were hired for a job, one that we didn't really get paid for now, did we?" And then you can hear like the metal on metal as he's like, tilts his head as he's looking at the Rhodian, waiting for a response.
The Rhodian, he says, "Well, to be honest, I triggered the beacon before you ever had me back aboard your ship in the first place, and before you showed such concern for my well-being." And he kind of gives you a sort of a shit-eaten look. He says, "But seeing how things have made a turn for the better, I'm sure my compatriots here would be willing to help in any way that they could to try and make up for a healthy transfer." And he says all this sort of looking sheepish, still sort of looking down. His ear cones have sort of drooped. His snout is still sort of drooped a little.
Sarah will look at Proto and say, "Well, we really don't need him on the ship. No sense in keeping him around. I don't know, maybe we can get something out of these before we take off."
Damn it, I'm still muted. Proto, as Zara's speaking to Proto walks up to the Rhodian, taps him on the shoulder a little too hardly. You know, his hands are very heavy-handed. He goes, "That is so generous of you. Will you be taking your female friends with you, or will they be joining us as crew on the ship?"
Well, I'm sure they'd probably wish to return home, but I mean that's completely up to them. I mean, as long as they're not back with Mamoda, I'm sure that they would probably be happy either way. I can't speak for them. I was just a safe house handler.
Moda.
And
I would enjoy killing that hut. when I find
are
him.
the Twi'leks with us? Sorry.
No, we spaced them.
Well, the Twi'leks we didn't space them. Are they with us, or do we send them off somewhere else when we came on board?
I didn't
Uh-huh.
send them off anywhere. I was gonna talk to them, but then we had the.
I would imagine that they're. I would imagine in that case that they're probably standing there at the doorway along with the Rhodian.
Zara will look at the three women and say, well, it's your choice. You can stay with us, or you can go with them.
The blue-skinned Twi'lek, she looks to you and she says, "Well, I'd rather go home." She's saying, "You guys haven't been too unpleasant toward us, but I would rather go home." The purple-skinned and the white-skinned Twi'lek, they sort of look like they're mulling it over a bit more, and they look at each other and they say a couple murmured words between the three of them, and they agree that they'd be willing to stay aboard as crew as long as they were going to be getting an equal share in pay and such as any crew member would. They tell you being here beats going back to Ryloth, and it beats being stuck with Momoda.
Anything is better than that.
Very well.
It's okay.
And Zara goes, well, it looks like two of us, and we can add two more to our crew.
Well, that's nice, isn't it?
The purple-skinned Twi'lek, she kind of looks at all of you, and she looks at Proto, and she says, "Well, as long as the ship's got a galley, I'm a good cook. I mean, it wouldn't do you any good, but it'd do the rest of your crew some good to eat something."
Proto sort of like straightens up, puffs up his chassis. You know, the torso part of his chassis, puts his hands on his hips. He's like, well, yes, that would be fantastic. I am captain now, and I'm not like that guy. And he's like trying to find wherever Darius is, if he's still around, or if he's trying to attend to his missing hand.
Darius is probably getting pretty woozy about now. I mean, he's
probably dead.
He's bandaged up as best he could with a makeshift wrap a bit of cloth and whatnot around it, but the wound is bleeding pretty well. He has been escorted to the med bay, but most of the medical equipment and stuff on this ship is a bit outdated and lacking. So
Zara will, let's see. Anybody have any stim packs or anything? All this money, I have no stim packs.
I do. Hold on.
I have some, but not for him.
Oh no!
That's nice.
No, so,
but while you guys are,
I'm afraid I don't use that sort of thing.
Daenerys would be in the med bay with him, offering to use some quick flash burning gel to cauterize the stump.
all right, but while all this is going on, your people on comms are getting a bit impatient, and the woman says, "So, what's going on? We can't dock with you here. Our airlock is malfunctioning. So, are you following us or not?"
Oh, flipping back on the comms, Proto's like, oh, my apologies. I forgot you were there. We were just mulling over whether or not we would have more crew. It's a fantastic And Proto
And
stops for a second.
Star at this point steps up and says, "We'll follow you. Proceed to the current coordinates. Our captain seems to be having a malfunction with his voice matrix, and she'll signal to click off the comms."
Yeah, Proto sort of like tapping towards his throat, just jostle it in place.
You guys, you cut off comms, and as you cut off comms, you get a digital or a text version of your coordinates, and the freighter makes a loop and turns. The two of the fighters turn as well and take off, and the other two seem to just sort of hang there in the air, like they're waiting for you to take to movement, or hang in space, not in air. Like they're waiting for you to begin to move off after them. You guys slowly begin to get everything going and up and running and begin heading to these coordinates. And it takes about an hour to get there in sublight. As you begin the approach on these coordinates, you can see I wouldn't really call it an asteroid field, but it would be just a small clump of asteroids in space. And on one of the larger asteroids, sort of in the middle of all of this, is a base. You can see that most of the base is inside of the asteroid, that there are docks and such on the outside of the asteroid, and umbilical type tubes and such that make their way inside of the asteroid. The YT freighter pulls up to one of these umbilicals and sort of hangs over it for a moment, waiting for you, and they send you another digital text sort of message of dock here, and they peel off and they pull into one of the hangars just as the last of the four fighters pulls in. Everybody gets docked and situated, and as you begin to make your way off of your ship and into the base, there is a group of people waiting for you. A Mirlin female, a female Wookiee that is so advanced in age that her fur is almost completely silver. And a Thorian and another member with them that you probably wouldn't recognize. You guys, if you wanted, you could give a xenology check to see if you would recognize what race this fourth person is, or this fourth creature is. It would be, if you want to do it, it would be a hard 3 purple.
Darius is going to go up and ask someone, doing medbay? I have a little problem.
The Athorian would instantly look at you and say, yes, come, follow us.
Yeah, he's going to go and take care of this. He doesn't care about the other stuff right now.
Yeah, you begin to walk off with him, and he gets on a comm and lets everybody else know that there's a bit of a medical emergency that needs tending to. And as you get a little bit further down the umbilical sort of hallway, you see a couple of med droids and a hover sled coming, like a gurney type of thing. And they coax you onto it, and they whisk you off down to the med bay.
Okay.
And quickly wind up getting you into a Bacta tank and such to take care of that hand or missing hand. And let's see.
And as they're rushing him off, Scenario says, "Wait, you might need this." And he's got a little bowl with some bits of what's left of his hand in it.
Oh my god!
You might need this. All right. But the remaining the Wookiee, she gives another Wookiee growl or roar or whatever you want to call it. And the Maryland woman, she looks at me and says, "Yes, I know. I can handle this." She looks back to you guys. She says, "Please excuse my captain." She says, my name is Kendi. She says, "I'm first mate of the Moa, the ship that met with you earlier." She says, and she sort of looks past you, and she sees just the one Twi'lek and the Rhodian. And she says, "Is this everyone? I was under the assumption that there was supposed to be 2 to 3 more."
Zara speaks up and says, "They chose to stay with us. We gave them the choice of whether to go with you or stay with us. They chose to stay with us."
As well, they're welcome to. We're just facilitating their escape from Momoda and their transportation home.
She mentions Momoda's name, and Proto just blurts out, "I don't like him."
Most don't. He's a rather vile Hutt. Since Jabba's demise, he's quickly taking over the galaxy's ire for Hutts. And she turns and looks back to this, what was the 4th member, Sing Sai. I almost forgot. The 3 of you that made rolls failed miserably. But you do all seem to notice that there's something not quite right about this creature. As it's standing here, it almost seems to shimmer, not like a shimmer of light reflecting or anything, but more of a shimmer, like it's not solid. And out of game, it's a Golanian, a shapeshifter. But she turns to him and she says something, and it's sort of like, sounds more like clicks and chirps, almost like a droid, but not quite, almost like binary. And this thing, instead of now you is when you really get the glimpse and the know that there's something really not right, because this thing goes from facing you to turned around without actually taking a step to turn around. It just all of a sudden its back becomes its front, and its front becomes its back, and it begins to move off down the hallway.
I think Proto again just quizzically sort of cocks his head to the side.
She's, yeah, pardon him. He makes a lot of people nervous. There's very few of his race left. and most that are left, most people don't notice. Very rarely do they take their natural form. Please follow us. You can make yourselves comfortable here. We've got a few things that we could discuss, and the base commander would like to speak with you as well. But I think she wants to wait till everybody is well enough to meet. So while your friend is being seen to, you're welcome to make use of all the non-restricted areas to the base. Welcome to the rebellion. This is Jolnir base. So do you guys take them up on their... Oh, go for it,
Zara
sorry.
thanks her, and says we will try not to start any trouble while we're here. Unfortunately, trouble seems to find us. And she'll look to Proto and Trinius and say, I'm going to head back to the ship and see what's on board. Take inventory, take stock. If you need me, just call me on the comms. And she'll head off towards the ship.
I think Proto will have to stay. Proto nods to Zara, and Proto nods to Zara and just says, "Take care of my new baby." And
and as she's walking off, she says, "Oh, I will."
The Rhodian, right? Proto like throw his hand around the Rhodian's shoulder, like all buddy, but with all his like physical modifications, like every ounce of him is very heavy, so he's just like resting all that weight down on the Rhodian. He goes, "Hey, don't forget our deal now, buddy."
The Rhodian sort of slumps under the weight, and he says, "Oh, I don't think I could ever forget you and our deal."
Isn't it fun being useful?
Very. The four of you, or the five of you, sorry, Proto, the Rhodian, and the blue-skinned Twi'lek, the Miralyn woman Kendi, and the silver-haired elderly female Wookiee begin to walk down the hall, and the Wookiee looks at Proto, and she sort of pats you on the shoulder and sort of purrs at you. And Kendi, she sort of laughs and looks back at you. She says, "Oh, just in case you don't understand her, she approves of you being captain." She says, it's much like her. Very rarely are the two of you ever seen captaining a vessel in this day and age.
I think Proto sort of has like some binary shooting out. Like a sense of ecstaticment, you know? But, he can't translate his emotions, so it shoots out in binary. And he just says, "Yes, it's wonderful. I've just recently become captain."
He says, "Well, you'll have to tell me that story sometime." He says, "But as for now, as you guys are walking down this hallway, you guys get deeper in, you can like see out the windows and all this and see that you are actually passing into the asteroid now. And this hallway opens up into larger rooms and chambers and such that break off in all different directions. she points off down to the left. She says, "Well, our med bays are down there." She says, "You're more than welcome to head down there and check on your friends that headed off with the medical droids." She points forward. She says, "The mess is down there, and the rec area is down this way." She says, "But if you head down toward the rec, don't go past it. That's barracks and our intelligence areas and such. It's off limits to anyone who's not a part of the rebellion. It'll also take you down toward our hangars. But you're welcome to make use of these 3 areas. Our base commander, General Cena Ray, she'll come find you as soon as she can." Says, "As for now, I've got to go see to the MOA and make sure everything's in operating order." And at that point, we're going to cut over to the med bay. And in the med bay, you've got Cineris holding this dish that has bits of hand and bits of lightsaber and all these different bits that he was able to pick up quickly. And Darius is getting a Miriam of shots as they are getting ready to load him into this Bacta tank. And the one droid says it will take you 8 hours in the Bacta tank till your hand is, or to your forearm, is ready to have a prosthetic attached to it. Is there any type of music or anything you would like to listen to while in the Bacta tank?
No, nothing.
Okay. And he turns around and sort of hovers off. And the 2 other droids that had come down the hall and got you and put you on the sled, they hoist you up and get you put into the rig and all this stuff, and you begin to get lowered into this Bacta tank. That the fluid that's in this Bacta tank, it's not quite liquid. It's more like a really thin gel. So like as you're lowered into it, you feel almost weightless type of thing, and sort of balance out to where you float just under the surface of it. Got a breathing mask and all this on. And what is Cineris doing?
So as you're lowering him in, Cineris is going to go up to the droid and tell him that sorry, he's a little delirious from the wound. He actually loves a good jizz band, so if you could get pump that up in there for him, he'd be really comfortable. And then, like I said, I don't know what you could do with this. I tried putting it together, but it's not like a machine. He kind of like shoves the tray, the little bowl, up to the droid.
The droid looks at the tray and says, "Oh, it's true. You organics are not as easy to put together as anything mechanical. But you're missing quite a few of the key components. I can see why you couldn't put it back together." And
well, if I took it apart, I'd be able to put it back together. But I'm not the one that took it apart. He did that to himself.
That is odd. Why would someone do this to themselves?
He's not too bright. That's why we have to look after him. He's a little slow.
Ah, okay. Well, once the sedatives kick in, we will put a headset on him and put in the music that you've requested.
And with that, Cineris is going to head back out and try to find the captain, because he knows that he needs probably be looked at after the ion grenade. He's been extra twitchy.
All right. So you head back out the direction that you'd came in, and you find Proto just as he is being, or you find Proto and the Twi'lek woman and the Rhodian just as they're being left by the Mirlin and female Wookiee, sort of standing in this commons area. And real quick, we'll jump over to the ship, where Zara is back on the ship with all of the rest of the crew. What are you having the crew do, and what are you doing?
Well, I'm trying to figure out who's who and where their specialties are. So we know that the one Twi'lek wanted to go to the galley, so I've let her go to the galley and get herself arranged up.
All right, so let's see. You've got 14 total people aside from yourselves. So you've got 2 cooks because of the Twi'lek woman, and a Bothan who was the ship, who was the Bothan, or who was the ship's cook to begin with.
Okay.
So that's all right, and then you've got 2 Weequay who claim to be engineers, but you can sort of tell as they're claiming to be the engineers or engine techs or whatnot that they're sort of full of themselves. They don't quite know what they're doing, but that's what they've been doing.
Okay, well, Zara will ask him, well, what are you good at? What do you like to do? What have you always done besides this, or before this?
Well, before this, I mean, I was a thief. And the other ones, well, before this, I was just a gunman. I ran with all sorts of different gangs throughout the different worlds that I've been on. I signed on to the crew here about 6 months ago. I got assigned to the engine room. So
all right, well, you two will be... She interrupts them and goes, okay, well, then you two are on my security. You will make sure nobody gets on this ship that's not authorized to be on this ship. Is that understood?
Understood.
And okay, so then she moves on to see...
Well, then you've got the 4 others that have been on the bridge with you since you guys took the ship.
Okay.
And they look at you and they say, well, we were second shift bridge crew, but now it seems we're round the clock bridge crew. So you guys took care of first shift.
She goes, okay, well, you guys, for now, take a break. I need to get a what I'm looking for. A little every board as far as supplies, weapons, all that.
Quartermaster?
Yeah, we need our quartermaster.
Type of thing?
Yeah.
And they look at you and says, oh, well, that's going to be Dewey. He's always been our acquisitions or our quartermaster. I think he's probably in his quarters right now. You'll know him when you'll know him when you smell him. He's a damn it! I just lost the pig guys.
Ugnites.
Oh, Gamorrean? Or
Gamorrean, that's it.
The Gamorreans
Not
or
the
the little
Ugnites.
ones?
The big Gamorreans.
Ah, interesting.
He knows a little bit of basic, but mostly he gets what we need because he's got connections with different huts and different black markets.
Outstanding. Okay, so that's 2, 4, 8, 9. So there leaves 5 more. Yep. Do we have a doctor on board? She asked the bridge crew before she.
Well, I wouldn't quite call him a doctor, or he knows enough that he can patch up some minor wounds. We call him Doc, but like I said, he's more of just more of a veterinarian than a doctor. He's the only Natolan on board.
Okay.
And then you've got,
And
let's see, you've got 4 other people.
uh-huh.
You got 2 humans that claim to be maintenance. Chase and Zex.
Okay. Chase and Zex.
Yep.
Okay. And
then
all right. So and then 2 more. Yeah.
And then you've got a Gank who claims to be or claims to have been security and the electrician all in the same.
Okay. And then the final one.
Damn it. I wish I wouldn't have lost my notes. He's the little brown-robed hooded guys from New Hope.
Jawa.
Jawa, that's it. I lost all my notes and I'm tired. I've just worked 33 hours out of the last 48. Jawa, who they just call Jay. He's sort of the gadget master here on board.
Okay. She was excellent, and she dismisses the crew or the bridge crew and say, take some time off, take a little bit of rest, whatnot. We don't know when we're going to take off again, but maybe a day, maybe a few days. And she will go looking for Dewey.
Okay. What do you want to know from Dewey?
Just what do they have on board? I mean, is there anything besides basically what I want to know is, do we need things? What do we have on board? Is there anything of value? If there's enough weapons for everybody?
There's enough weapons on board for everybody twice over.
Okay. Excellent.
You've got a very limited amount of medical supplies, enough to fix up a few more scrapes and bruises, and that's about it.
Okay.
You've got enough food on board to last close to a month on just like standard ration type of eating. Nobody'd really be able to sit down and gorge themselves type of thing.
No banquets. Got it.
Yeah. And you've got enough spare parts on board that you'd be able to repair the fighter and the main ship, but nothing on board that would work for repairing the gunboat that is used as the boarding ship.
Okay. All right.
Which did take damage whenever you guys blew up the umbilical and all that when they docked with your last ship.
Okay. All right, that's noted, and I think that's good. So she will take all these notes and start heading her way back to where she's going to decide where she's going to put her quarters at, and then you can.
Hmm.
We can meet her back.
Hours pass. Darius comes out of the back to tank, and the droid doctor tells him that he's got to get the okay before he can attach any type of replacement limb for him. But it shouldn't be an issue. Proto, Cenarius, and the Rhodian and Twi'lek and such have made use of the mess and the rec area to waste time for the 8 hours that Darius has been in the back to tank. A human male comes and finds the four of you and says, General Sina is capable of seeing you now. If you would please follow me to the briefing room.
All right, and Zara will follow.
Proto just, gets up and waits for him to lead on.
All right. You guys walk into a briefing room, and you see this woman standing at the end of a table, and she's doing something that is rather odd for this day and age. She's flipping through what is actual paper type of file folder. And as you guys come walking in, she says, so you must be who the MOA brought in. And she looks through all of you, and she looks directly at the Rhodian, and says, and I take it you were our Coruscant operative. And he just sort of nods to her, and he's, yes, ma'am, that's me. She says, okay. We aren't going to be able to get you back to Coruscant anytime soon. And she then looks to the Rhodian woman, or not Rhodian woman, but the Twi'lek woman, and she says, and unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get you to Ryloth anytime soon. Unless, she looks to the three of you, and that's when her comm chirps, and you can hear a droid's voice asking for permission to attach a cybernetic limb to his patient. And she's, yeah, go ahead, but save the better ones that we've got for any of our soldiers who need them. Just give them a basic. And the droid, affirmative. And she puts her comm link away, and she says, well, apparently your crew member or your partner, however you term yourselves, is doing well. We're going to go ahead and attach a cybernetic to him so that he has a hand again, as we don't have the time to let him sit in Bacta, and even if we did, I don't think he'd be able to regrow the limb. But I've got a favor to ask of you. She says, we've healed your man, and we're outfitting him with a prosthetic. She says, in return, and I'm sure that this young woman here would appreciate it if you were able to return her home. She says, we were supposed to, but you've pushed up our timetable by abducting her in the first place. And I just received word a few hours ago that the rebellion is getting ready to make one final, or what they hope to be, one final push at the Empire out over Endor.
I think Proto would be like, his sort of body language might be a little confused and agitated. He's looking back and forward at the woman speaking, and then back at Zara, and probably at the Rhodian, and back at Zara, and back at the woman speaking, and then back at the Rhodian. Like, he does this quite a few times, and finally turns to Zara. Goes, I thought we were going to get paid for this. I mean, not Zara, at the Rhodian.
Rodian looks at you and says, well, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Says, I mean, yeah, I'm sure Mamoto would have paid you, and I mean, I'm sure if they could, they'd have paid you. But isn't fixing up your friend nearly as good as getting paid? I mean, you're a whole crew again.
Proto will look at Zara, since Proto is actually a brand new member to the group. He says, is it worth former Captain Darius getting fixed up?
She'll look to the general and say, is there any opposition or anything of any type of obstacle that we have to worry about to get this young lady home?
None that I'm aware of. I mean, Ryloth is a occupied world, so I mean, if you have any issues with the Empire, I mean, there may be, but I mean, as far as I know, it's just going to be a simple fly her in, drop her off. And we're refueling your ship. Your friend has spent past 8 hours in our back to tank and getting one of our limited few cybernetic replacements.
She'll, listening to that, will nod and say, well, as long as there's no danger and it's a fly-in, fly-out job, I say it's a fair trade. And then she looks back at the general and says, but if we face any trouble or anything goes off of what you think we should do, we may have to come back and renegotiate the rest of the deal.
Well, as much as I can understand that, says I can't make any guarantees that you're not going to come across any type of opposition. It's a rough galaxy these days. There's all sorts of stuff going on, and especially around Ryloth. And The Hutts still control a lot of the space around there. The Empire still controls most of the galaxy. I can't guarantee anyone's safety. I can't guarantee my own men's safety.
Zara will sit there. Okay, go ahead.
So Cenarius is gonna be kind of like tapping on Proto Rust to get his attention.
Proto just looks down.
And he kind of like waves down to kind of come down to his level. He doesn't want to speak too loudly.
Proto takes a knee.
Says, Captain Rust, maybe we can try and get some extra men from them. That way the ship's combat ready. And perhaps you can see if they can change our ship ID so that, one, we can maybe stay out of trouble, and if we do get in trouble, the ship will be combat capable. We're running on less than optimum manpower right now.
As he's talking, Proto's just sort of nodding. At first, like incoherently. Like he's nodding at the wrong times at first as you're speaking, and as you're talking, he starts to nod at the right times. He pauses, and there's like an uncomfortable pause of silence. Like he's waiting for more information. And then he gets up and addresses the general. General, if taps his throat again, reset his voice box. If we can get a handful of extra men to help pilot the ship on the journey, just in case we do run into an issue, then maybe we can have ourselves a deal.
She sort of looks at you. She leans forward, puts both her hands on the table, and leaning forward, she's, well, like I just told you, we're getting ready to make what we hope to be a final push. So I don't know how many people I'm going to be able to spare, or if I could spare them permanently. I mean, that would be completely up to them. This is a voluntary army. But I'll ask, and I'll see what we can spare, or if anybody wants to. But I can't and I won't order anyone to go with you. But I'll see what I can do.
Proto, how big is the table is she leaning on?
It's like your average conference room table. I mean, it's probably 5 to 6 foot. 5 to 6 foot wide, and maybe 10 to 12 foot in length.
All right.
And she's at the one end of it.
All right. I just wanted to know, like, if Proto were to lean on the table back, would he sort of buckle under the weight?
Oh no, it would hold him.
So Proto does that, leans on the table, points to her, and then looks over at Zara. And then down, then sort of scooches over to get a view at Cenarius. And looks back at the general. I think you may have yourself a deal. And he's pointing at her.
She's all right. I'll.
Zara then
go for it.
Zara says, and one more thing. I would like, as just a show of goodwill, it won't cost you very much and maybe a little bit of time, but I want all intelligence you guys have on Momada.
So that we can do. I don't know how much information we've got on him, but we can get you whatever we've got. That's not going to compromise any of our operations. I'll get into checking to see if we've got anybody that's willing to go with you, whether it be permanent or temporary, and I'll get you your information. And if your man's operation is anything near standard, it'll take at least another hour or so before he's ready. So please continue to make yourselves comfortable in all the areas that are open to you. She says, my men will escort you back to the common areas. And she presses a button on the end of the table where there's a keypad, and the two gentlemen that came and got you, or the gentleman that came and got you, steps back in and he says, if you'd please follow me back to the recreations area.
I think, like, as on his way out, Proto will sort of like throw his arm around Zara in a very uncomfortably friendly manner, seeing as how his arms are probably the heaviest portions of his body, weighing down on Zara almost in the same fashion as he was the Rhodian. He goes, I like your style. He's walking out with her.
And Zara will look at Proto and goes, we need to do something about your voice. Maybe Cenarius can take a look at it and fix it. We need to make you sound a little bit more captain.
What are you talking about? I have a perfect voice for authority. You do know that I was built as a security droid.
That's true. But you can all prove.
She says that, and he just sort of puffs up again, and he's like, you know, scraping at the little metal of his throat. It never hurts to improve at all.
And as you guys are having this conversation while being escorted back, the guy who's escorting you, he sort of looks over at you guys. He says, well, I'm sure we could get him into the mechanics bay and get him, at the very least, an oil bath. Maybe loosen up some of his joints.
That's up to you.
I like it. I like it. Oh, like. Taps his throat again. Like it.
You really should let me take a look at that, Captain. I think that ion grenade might have done a little more damage than I anticipated.
What are you talking about? It didn't damage me at all. I'm fine.
All right, so he escorts everybody to the rec area, and then he turns to Proto and to Cenarius. And he says, now, if you want an oil bath, and if he wants to let you check him out, I can escort you down to the mechanics area now.
Proto's just sort of like nodding very quickly.
He says it's not necessarily one of those areas that you're going to have free roam in. He says, so I'll have to stay there with you, but as long as I'm there with you, it won't be any issues.
He's still just nodding very quickly.
Yes, that'd be great. I'm sure you probably have more tools there than what I have in just my little kit.
Oh, well, he says, yeah, please, follow me. And as he turns to leave, he looks at Zara and he says, oil bath shouldn't take more than half hour or so. We'll be back soon. Make yourself at home.
She says, take your time. And she'll go find an area to just kind of sit down, and she'll, for the first time since she's gotten here, finally take off her helmet and set it down. And Curios, the Salamary who's been just hanging around her neck the whole time, she'll just reach up and pet it and just sit and relax.
Okay. Well, as you're relaxing and probably occasionally watching a little bit of whatever holo they've got on in the rec area or engaging in conversation with anybody around, Proto and Cenarius have headed down to the mechanics area. They get Proto into a nice oil bath, and I imagine Cenarius. I mean, it's a rebellion mechanics base, so it's not lavish or overly stocked with goodies, but it's probably got a better stock of goodies and stuff in there than Cenarius has seen in quite a while. So I'd imagine he's probably going a little, pardon the pun, but a little batshit crazy happy in there.
Oh,
Proto.
He's probably he's like, oh, that hydro spanner is a lot nicer than mine, and kind of tucking it away.
Yeah, if you want to try and snatch anything,
I
you
think
can make a hard skullduggery.
I think maybe Proto would like give him an assist with that, like unintentionally, as he's getting ready for the oil bath and everything. He's sort of like popping out independent power cells out of his arms, the ones that actually work as the ammo for his blast knucklers. So he's got these large power cells he's pulling off.
All right, so if he's going to be sort of inadvertently helping, I'll give you a boost dice to your hard skullduggery, 3 purple and 1 blue. All right, so as you're attempting to sort of swap tools with what they've got sitting there, the guy, one of the other mechanics that's in there, he sort of sees you do it and says, hey, no, get your hands off my tools. Says, you're welcome to use any of the parts that are in here, but you leave my tools alone, you little rodent.
Hey, it was a simple misunderstanding. How many
simple missing.
How many people are in the engineering bay?
Let's see. Counting the guy who's escorting you, there's gonna be, I'm gonna say 3.
Okay. I'm gonna flip a point. Oh, look at that! I found a stun grenade in my pocket that I forgot about.
Now, are you sure you want to go put blasting off explosives in a so far friendly area?
Of course I am. Let's see. I don't have it on my
Wait. Now, do a perceptions check before you do that and see if there is a Jedi in there. You'll mess up your plans every time. Trust me.
Now this is a stun grenade, not a thermal detonator.
Well, that's a bonus there.
Yeah, I'm not trying to kill. Just knock them out. There's a ship or a base to explore. They said we were near the areas we're not supposed to go into, so of course I want to go into those areas. So, what's the difficulty?
Well, 2 of them are at the moment close enough to you and to each other that it would be just a simple one difficulty. But I mean, there's the one guy who escorted you guys down here. He's sort of standing over by the door, which is probably a good 15 feet behind where you guys are at.
Okay.
So you'd have to figure out how to get him over to you in order to be able to hit all of them with the stun grenade.
All right. Where's my? I am tired as well. Sorry. There it is. 3. So yeah, I'm gonna try to grab another tool to pocket.
Okay. Another hard, and at this point in time, I'd say Proto's probably into the oil bath already. So you're not going to get your boost this time. The two threats is at this time, as you're attempting, like you get a little closer into getting this thing into your pocket, and the threat is at this time the same mechanic who caught you the last time catches you this time, and this time like he grabs you by the wrist and sort of gives you a yank up onto your like tippy toes type of thing. Like he grabs you and sort of lifts that one arm up, yanks the tool out of your hand. And I told you to leave my tools alone, you little rodent. He says, now, do I have to have you escorted back out of here?
Look, it was just a simple mistake. I just needed this to fix the captain.
Yeah, as that's going
I
on,
swear it won't happen again.
Proto will like yell out, "Hey, I know it's fun, but please, he's got a job to do." And he's like tapping at his throat as he's sitting in the oil bath.
So, hearing that and whatnot, he sort of releases the grip and lets you back down. He says, now, be happy to help you, but you leave my tools alone.
So he tries to pocket another one.
All right. All right. You take 3 strain, but you manage to, like, as Proto's talking, like, he's let you down, and he's looked over at Proto, and you manage to get one tool into your pocket that was on the bench type of thing. I'll let you pick what it is.
It's that hydro spanner. That was really nice. It's
The original one? Okay.
Damn, he wasn't supposed to catch me that time. Or I wasn't supposed to take it that time.
But
this guy over here.
yeah, that's like you get it into your pocket, and that's when he turns back and looks at you and says, I'd be happy to help you, but you leave your hands off my tools.
I'm going to knock the cart over.
Okay, yeah, you knock the cart over. Yeah, I'm not going to make you roll for it or anything. It's simply just, boom, you knock it over, and tools and bits and pieces go scattering all over the place. Which I'm going to say gets both the other mechanics. You like knock it over in the direction of the guy who's escorted you down here. So it gets the other 2 mechanics close enough over to him to where it puts the 3 of them close enough that if you still want to try the stun grenade, you can.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, sorry. I slipped on some oil. I didn't mean to. Let me help you pick these up.
All right. Instead of 1 purple, though, because you are in side of a friendly base at this point in time, it's going to be 1 red.
Okay. Let's see if that's right. Awesome.
Oh, right.
And then I'm going to, since I'm within range as well, I'm going to flip a point and use selective detonation. Actually, wait, I'm sorry. No, I'm going to use the advantage. Selective detonation. When the blast quality is used, or no, do I need the blast quality for the stun? I forgot.
I'm going to call it close proximity. They're all like right on top of each other type of thing. So I'm going to say you get all 3 of them just to be nice.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. It's okay. Yeah, so I'm going to use the advantage so that I will not be affected by it with my selective detonation skill.
Okay.
So, what is it? Sorry.
Yeah. The 3 of them drop.
It'll be 10 damage because I get plus 2 damage. So.
Yeah, the three of them drop.
All right. All right, Captain Rust. I'll be right back. And I'm gonna slink down the hall towards the intelligence and all that.
Quick question, Sean. How far is this going on from where Zara is at?
Like they're down a hallway and around a corner. So I mean, it's probably 200-300 feet away from you, easy.
Okay. So what would be the difficulty to see if she could, while she's sitting there relaxing, hear what's going on? If she can hear the detonation of the stun grenade as it goes off.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be a hard with 2 purple and a red due to, I mean, all the noise that's coming from that general area. I mean, they're down in a maintenance area, which the maintenance area is not too far away from the main hangar and all that stuff.
Cool. Come on, baby.
All right. You do manage to pick up your ancillary sort of perks up, and that's what sort of makes you realize that you've heard a sound that isn't quite normal for the sounds that you've been hearing. Like nobody else around you seems to really be to have thought twice about it, but you recognize that that's a sound of some type of grenade going off rather than maintenance or any work being done. But nobody else around you seems to really think anything of it.
At that, Zara will into the she's kind of been working with them to like on with hand signals to be able to move, so he grips on a little bit better, so he doesn't fall off like he did the last time you get off of her. So she motions on that. She sticks on her helmet, and she's going to stealthily make her way down to the maintenance area.
All right. Go ahead and make me a average stealth check.
Okay.
So 2 purple. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You managed to get down there without a problem.
Not only does nobody around see me, nobody around sees me. Cenarius doesn't even know I'm knocking him. When I get down there and see what he's planning on doing after getting explosion, doesn't even notice me.
All right, yeah. I'll say you get down and you come around the corner just as he's like turned the opposite way, heading for where'd you say toward the intelligence areas?
Yeah, he was getting ready to sneak down that way.
All right. I'll have you make also an average stealth check. All right. Both of you managed to make it down there. Like the few cameras that are in the hallways, you manage to sort of stop and wait till they're aimed, because they're like bouncing back and forth type of cameras. So you're able to time yourself to get in and follow along with the camera to where you stay in the camera's blind spot and all this. And you get down to the intelligence areas, and you can see wide open sort of rooms that are cut into this asteroid that have all this all the sort of clear plexiglass type of screens set up and all this stuff with different images on them. What is it that you're looking for in particular?
I just want to find out what they're doing. gather as much intel as I can.
All
They
right.
don't
Well,
want
you
us
can.
in this area for a reason, so
All right. Well,
if I can
you can
make
see
my way
that.
to
I
a computer
mean,
terminal.
yeah, you can see on quite a few of the screens that they are, in fact, massing most of the rebellion's ships and resources in one area, and you can see on another screen that they've got the indoor system pulled up and all this. So yeah, I'll say you're able to get over to a computer to get on and see what else you want to try and find out. That'll be a hard 2 purple, 1 red computers check.
I'm gonna use one as well.
All right. With the failures, it's not that you are able to get into the system, but your only thing you're finding in the system is the same thing that is showing up on the monitors around the screens around you, type of thing.
All
What do
right.
you want to use the triumph and the advantages for?
I want. Shit, it doesn't work that well.
Well, what were you originally thinking? I'll see if.
Let's see. Assuming we're gonna be back here, I want to plan a virus so that I can pull data off next time easier. Something to like gather what they're doing, because since the way the HoloNet works, it's only local. There's not really like it's not like long range Wi-Fi, like we're used to here.
Yeah.
80s internet.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll say you're able to put like a worm type of virus or something in there that eats up little bits of information here or there, and the next time you're in range, it'll transmit it to you, type of thing.
That will work.
I'll say you're capable of doing that. With that triumph, you get it done with ease.
That will definitely work.
All right, and then we jump back over to the med bay, and Darius is sitting in there, and the doctor is attaching this prosthetic cybernetic limb, and it's a lot like you saw in Empire Strikes Back at the end of it, where he's sitting there, he's got his arm out on the table, and the doctor's got all the tools poking at it, and the fingers are twitching, and the hands twitching, and all this sort of stuff. And the doctor, I believe it's as good as it's going to get.
Which means?
Which means with this level of prosthetic, you will not have the tactile feeling of touch, but you'll have full dexterity that you had before.
Do you have a better one?
Not that I have been granted to give you.
How about if I buy it? I know the Republic needs credits.
I can contact the general and see.
Do that.
And like you can see that he just sort of looks off into space, and you can hear him talking and whatnot. And he's, General, the patient is offering to purchase one of our better upgraded cybernetic limbs. And he looks back to you and he says, what are you willing to pay for it? Market value, or are you willing to pay over market value?
Depends on what's the market value.
This is market value for a limb that will give you tactile sense of touch is 8,000 credits, I believe.
Okay. All right.
And he is willing to pay 8,000 credits for the limb. And then he looks back at you and he says, "The general is asking for 12."
10.
He repeats that, and a moment later he looks back at you and he says, "A deal has been struck. It will take another hour and a half for me to take that one off and apply the other."
Take your time. In fact, you can go as slow as you want. There's no rush. I'm going nowhere.
Okay.
I just bought myself a vacation.
He says, "All right. In an hour and a half's time, you will be free to go." And he begins to start taking that one off. And then we'll jump back over to you guys that are in the CIC, the command center. What are you doing now that you've planted your virus, Cenarius?
He would have gone back and laid on the floor with the other guys that were knocked out. That way,
All right,
when
so
he woke up, he would have played along with them.
all right. Did Zara stick around the whole time, or when she sees him start heading back, does she sort of duck off to where he won't see her?
Yeah, when she observes what he does and watches, but as soon as she notices him start to head back towards the maintenance bay area, she'll hobtail it out there and head back to the rec area where she was at before.
All right, and I'm going to grant it to you. I'm going to say you're able to get out of there before Cenarius notices that you followed him, type of thing. And Cenarius, you get back into the mechanics room, and Proto is still just sitting there enjoying this oil bath as it's sort of...
There's just like several bass and treble tones just switching. Like, I don't know if you've ever installed a car stereo system and had to test it, but those sounds are just like just coming out of his voice box right about now.
Yep, and the oil is sort of jacuzzi style, just sort of bubbling all around him and everything. If a droid could have a look of pure relaxation and enjoyment, that'd be the look he's giving. Head sort of lulled back as all these sounds are coming out. And you get back in, get laid down on the floor, and just moments after you get laid down, all three or two of the guys sort of start to move and groaning a little bit, and they begin to pull themselves back up off the ground, like, what the hell just happened, and all this, and they see that you're laying there, and one of them actually looks to Proto and he says, "What the hell? What happened in here?"
Again, just the tones are just coming out. Proto's just like laid out in the
And I'd imagine, Cenarius, you probably lay there until the three of them.
He would lay there for a little bit longer. That way, he's playing it up. He's smaller, so the blast is gonna affect him a little more, kind of thing.
All right, well, I'll grant it to you and all this, and I'll say one of the mechanics sort of looks at the other one and he says, "What'd you do? Leave ordnance sitting on the cart?" He's, "Man, I don't know." He says, "I've got all sorts of stuff on here. There may have been something on there." Yes. Anyway, it looks like everything's here. It doesn't look like anything's been messed with. Let's just finish this and get these guys out of here so we can get things back to normal. So if you want to attempt to work on Proto's voice box, an average mechanics check. That is, if Proto will allow it.
Proto's not fighting anything right now.
Ooh, did it go?
There it is. All right. You managed to improve his voice box quite a bit. He'll have less of a stutter and more of a more smooth and authoritative voice now.
For a joy.
He wants me to get my Barry White on. Look at this. Dag nabbit.
Well, I didn't quite mean that. I just meant it's going to be less choppy.
Treat it as like a. So I was basically trying to do like the medicine check, but for droids.
Yeah.
Recover some of his strain from the ion and look at his circuitry. And I guess as a result, we'll get rid of that stutter too.
Yeah, I think the you'd realize that the ion had little to no effect on Proto. And while you're messing around, there's just like layers of reinforcement. Like all his plates and everything about him. Though there's metal, there's actually laminate woven in to the metal, integrated, and everything is just thicker and heavier than it should be.
It's good to know. Cenarius is going to note that. He can set up ions without worry, I guess.
While he wasn't fighting anything, you probably should have tried putting a restraining bolt on him. No, that's mean. But no, time goes by. You guys all get, the oil bath is all done. You guys all get back out to the recreation area. Zara's returned to lounging on one of the couches or whatever that's there. She's got the Asilmaries sort of climbed down off of her shoulders and curled up in her lap and all that. She's sort of pulling the Dr. Evil, sort of sitting there petting the Asilmari. And time goes by, and Darius is escorted back to the rec area where you guys are at. And he comes in sort of flexing the hand that it doesn't have any synth skin or anything on it, so it's just a cybernetic hand sticking out all metal and all this.
It's got a glove. We'll put a glove on.
Okay.
Keeps it clean.
So he's got a glove over it. It looks like Michael Jackson got one glove on. But you guys, all of you are enjoying a little bit of relaxing time. I mean, some of the crew has even come off of the ship and is there in the rec area and all this, as they've made this area open to everybody. And the general, she comes back in. She says, well, I've got good news and I've got bad news. She says, bad news is I wasn't able to get you but 3 people. She says it won't help much. She says, but they're all experts with ship's gunnery. So if you don't have anybody on your weapon systems, you do now. She says that's part of the bad and the good. The rest of the good news is She pulls out a data disk and she sets it down on one of the on like the coffee table in front of the couch where the four of you are around, sitting around, and she says that's all the information we have on not only Momoda but on the controversy that has been going on with the Hutts and their power struggles since Jabba's demise on Tatooine.
And Zoro will go.
No, go for it.
Zoro will pick a disc and go, wonderful. And she'll take the disc and put it in her utility belt.
Okay. And what was Proto getting ready to say?
Proto was just going to say, this will be fun.
And Zoro, when you say that...
Zoro will go, that is much better. You sound like the captain that needs to get on that bridge.
What are you talking about? Didn't I always?
General nods in agreement and says that does sound much better than the choppy, stuttering, and broke up voice you had just hours ago. She says, now, I don't mean to be an inhospitable host. She says, but we've got operations that have to be getting underway, and it seems your man is healed and repaired. So if you wouldn't mind, please getting off my base.
Zoro will get up and start heading back to the ship.
The Rhodian sort of, as you guys are heading that way, sort of stops you all, and he says, he thanks you for your eventual hospitality, and you can tell it's just politeness, that he doesn't necessarily mean it, but tells you all that he hopes to one day see you again. And the blue-skinned Twi'lek, she's following along with you guys as you all head back to the ship. And as you board the ship, she tells you exactly what province and all this that she wants or would like to be taken to on Ryloth. And you get the ship up and going. The three rebellion members that are with you, two of them tell you that if things go well, they wouldn't mind if this became a permanent placement sort of deal. And one of them makes it very clear that he doesn't plan on staying. When this job's over, he would like to be returned to Jolnir base. But he'd be happy to take up any one of the gun placement positions that you've got and need manned. Very polite, but very blunt and straightforward about he does not want this to be permanent. You guys get... go for
it. Zara will say, understood. As soon as this mission's over, we'll bring you back.
Alright, he gets directed towards where he'll be working, and you guys, if needed, you guys get disembarked from the base, get your coordinates and your astrogations and all this stuff put in for the Ryloth system, and you make your jump. It'll take you about 8 hours in hyperspace to get to Ryloth from where you're at. You're just right off of one of the hyperspace lanes where this little cluster of asteroids is at. So it only takes you about maybe a half hour's sublight flight to get to the hyperspace lane and get your jump going.
All right. So at this, while we're getting her jump, Zara will go to the place where she's made her quarters, and we'll ask Scenarius to step into her cabin real quick. She wanted to talk to him real quick.
Yeah, that's not a problem. What do you need?
Zara will sit. She's got like a little desk area in her area. She'll sit behind her desk and begin putting that data disk in. She'll have it start uploading, and she'll go, "What were you doing in that control room?"
Looking for data.
And
Unfortunately, no luck. Their file system is not the easiest to navigate. I was able to
she'll
get
kind
in.
of look down. What did you get in? What did you
I was
see?
able to get into their system, but I couldn't find anything. I'm not sure where they keep any of the information, but hopefully there's enough on that disk to help us find Mamoto for you guys.
Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to tell me?
I didn't hurt anybody. Just gave them a little nap.
I noticed that. Well, good try anyway. And she'll pull out a credit stick and give him 3,000 credits. Next time you get some information, I'll give you more.
Well, we'll see what I can do.
Zara, the information broker, huh?
So yeah, that had to. Gotta make some money somehow, or funds are gonna go low quick.
I think like the 8-hour fight, Proto is gonna get to learn who the crew is and do what like sort of reveal a little bit more about how brutal Proto is. Just he's not rough with the crew, but he's getting to know them. Yes, I am your captain now. I am droid designation PR0-T0. You may call me Proto or Captain Lost. And like go out and see if they all have like pistols and stuff, and command them in sections like in shifts to see how well their aim is. And he'll actually stand short distance away and like spread his arms and go fire, and tell them to shoot at him to see how well their aim is one by one.
Okay. Are you having them use live rounds or?
Yeah. Live actual lethal blasts from their blaster pistols. Like he's not calling for stun rounds, for none of that stuff.
All right. Your soak's high enough that you soak most of the damage that you take from it, but I'm going to say you probably take a few points of damage from a few of these shots, as these guys, most of these guys are pretty good shot. I mean, they've all criminals for a reason type of thing. So I'll say you take like 3 wounds from this testing your crew sort of bit.
I just make note which ones I feel, and those are the muscle on the crew, so to speak. And eventually report that back to, since Zara was taking stock of who's who and who's worth what. That's how Proto sees who's worth what and actually tells Zara which ones are good with sidearms.
Okay. I'm going to say offhand the best that you've got, aside from the four of you, the best shot that you've got is the gank. Out of every shot he made, it was nice tight pattern, all like dead center in the chest type of thing, all within just a couple of inches of each other sort of shots.
He'll get one of those heavy sort of pats on the back. You know, you're good with a sidearm. And like, next, as he goes down the line. And reports all that stuff to Zara, like sort of taking a cloth, trying to buff out the burn marks.
Yeah, you get through all of your guys, and you've got a couple of them that really aren't all that great with a blaster, and that's obviously going to be the Twi'lek females and the Bothan. Neither of the three of them are really worth a damn with firearm. And the Bothan, he told you that ahead of time. He tells you, he says, I'm a cook for a reason. But you've got quite a few guys on your team that are good with a sidearm. And the gank, as you pat him and tell him good job, he says, I'm an even better shot with a rifle type of thing. And your Gamorrean, he's not a great shot, but you can also see that he doesn't carry a firearm. He carries like a vibro axe and stuff like that. He's more of a melee combatant type of thing. But your flight there goes fairly well, and actually just when you guys drop from hyperspace, Zara, you get a communication that comes over your private comm link, and not necessarily having enough time with arriving at Ryloth and having a duty and this and that to get done, you do have enough time to check where it came from, and it's come from Dathomiri.
Okay. Zara, seeing that, we gotta get this done. Make a note. Make a note that she's in her head that she's gonna respond back as soon as she can and continue with the job.
As you drop from hyperspace and everybody gets back up to the bridge, you can see, I mean, obviously, like you were told, that Ryloth is under Imperial control. There are a few Imperial vessels stationed around Ryloth.
So, Darius, why are we here?
We're bringing back the Twi'leks.
What Twi'leks?
He was in medbay while all this was going on.
He hasn't seen them walking through the ship.
I thought these were some new crew.
Two of them are.
Yeah.
The one, and Zara points to the blue one, she's going back home.
Okay.
We take her home, you got your new arm.
And we have to drop her off on an Imperial-controlled planet?
She's from Ryloth.
And it's right now under Imperial control?
Correct.
Oh, is that a yes?
Yes,
Yes, it's under
Alright.
she's going back to Ryloth. It's under
Can we
control.
do like a low flyby and like check her out the vent or something? With a Give her a parachute. You don't need to land in any Imperial-controlled worlds just to dump off some Twi'lek.
We'll be fine.
Would that be easier, or do we have? Maybe this thing has like don't they have like escape pods? We can stick her in that.
I think at this point, like while he's saying all this, Proto sort of like puts his hands on its waist and like leans over a little bit, and faces Darius, face to face mask, and simply says, "You're not the captain anymore."
I know. I'm making a suggestion.
And they'll pat him on the head a little too hard. Pump, pump.
Don't do that.
Zara go, it'll be fine. We're just dropping her off.
Make it quick.
From what I can gather from what's going on with the rebels anyway, the Imperials might be a little too busy to worry about us.
Yeah, you can see that there are plenty of smaller shuttles and such going back and forth from the different larger Imperial ships and from the surface as you guys are approaching. That there's plenty of activity going on. You actually make it almost to atmosphere before you get a message coming over that is from one of the smaller Imperial vessels asking for your ship's identification and reason for being here. Like it comes over in text rather than over in voice.
Proto sees that, he just stares at it like not knowing.
Zara will take the credentials that the general gave and give him those and inform him that they're just a ship that is dropping off a passenger and picking up supplies.
And a few moments go by, and you get an all clear that you're clear to land.
Well, that was.
Are you guys going to take the Corvette down, or are you going to take her down in the boarding ship, the blast boat?
Or escape pod.
Nah.
Or are you going to put her in an escape pod and jettison her?
It'll land.
We told them we were picking up supplies, so I think it might be best that we land this ship, and who knows, maybe we can find some supplies we might need while we're down here real quick.
So
What do you guys think?
I'll stay up here.
Okay, the ship is flying to the planet.
Well, I know. I'll stay on the ship if you're going to take the other boat, the blast boat, down.
No, we're not.
No,
We're taking
we're landing the whole ship.
Oh, I'll stay on board the ship.
Okay. Because otherwise
that
we
explosion
could fight her
damage
if you
your
want to stay up
mental
here.
unit as well.
I couldn't hear what either of you were saying. You were both talking at the same time.
No, we're flying the whole thing. Just turn into the pirate pilot.
Zara had said, well, if you want to stay up here, we could leave you in the fighter. That's what she said.
What fighter?
The fighter that's in our docking bay. We got a fighter and a gunboat in our docking bay.
Oh, okay.
We can leave you in the fighter. That one's working perfectly fine as far as I know, but the gunboat's a little messed up.
I don't think it matters. I was going to stay on the up here if you were going to leave the ship up here.
Okay. Okay. She's okay. I just wanted to make sure.
All right, so you guys probably about 20 minutes later, you guys get your coordinates or your docking permission or landing permission, and you get landed on one of the larger landing pads. And as you guys are disembarking with the blue-skinned Twi'lek, she's just thanking you left and right for bringing her home and all this. She tells you that she's not even sure if home still exists, but she'd rather be here than anywhere else, type of thing. And what is it you're looking for while you're here on Ryloth?
Well, is there anything we want, guys?
Guns and armor for the ship.
Well, that may take a couple days to get done. Do we have a couple days to wait?
We should upgrade my baby.
We could probably swing something like that. Darius, do you think there's anything we need?
Nah, nothing at all.
Scenarios, what about you?
He'll just steal it. You don't even have to ask him. You can just take him along. He'll just take stuff.
No, there's nothing I can think of at the moment, but I wouldn't mind walking through town.
Check his pockets.
Okay.
Well, actually, don't. But you want him to take as much as possible. Just don't let anybody
Well,
catch him.
if we're
If he's
We're
caught,
gonna-
you don't know it. That's the thing. You don't even know who he is. He's been walking with us. But, if he gets away with it, then it's okay.
You guys are so nice.
So then we're here for a few days then? Are we all agreed on that?
2 days. Oh, how long are you going to take you to shop?
Because we got the modifications to the ship. It's going to take
Oh.
probably at least a day, if not longer.
Well, so what are you're looking to improve the ship or just buy weapons?
Proto just wants to upgrade the ship.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Proto's the
That's-
captain. The ship is as good as his body.
Yeah, Proto's all about upgrading.
He wants to upgrade the ship.
I can start here at the spaceport. They'll probably be able to tell you, where to go and what to do.
Let's see here. Okay, make
Money though, because he hasn't been paid since he joined the crew.
What do you need money for?
You got the ship. The ship's yours.
Yeah. Not like you need to eat.
We're just helping you out.
Yeah, without any funds, you don't find anybody that's willing to upgrade your ship.
I've got funds. I've still got funds. The Black Sun didn't take their funds back.
No,
They
that's mine
decided
too.
to screw us.
No, it's where mine come from also.
I've got quite a bit still.
Yeah, you see.
Okay.
Buy a ship.
She's not going
So
to
if
reveal
you-
how much, but she's gonna. She knows that she has enough to at least
Oh,
get something.
and we also still have the some of the stuff that was left from Echo. If you wanted to keep it here safe and not let the Sith get it until he comes back, so it's hidden somewhere else and not start touching it. But you probably have that in you. So Zara's
Oh
probably
yeah,
got
she's kind of got an idea of
the
what-
Echo memory.
things are. We've got more than enough to take care of it. It just in her funds alone, we've got way more than enough to take care of any modifications, and that's Proto's payment.
All right. Well,
How's
you
that
guys
sound,
can.
Proto?
Frodo's just like looking for catalogs of armor and guns and like ship upgrades and fuel and like engine upgrades. He's not a mechanic, so he doesn't know what he's looking at. He's just asking what's the best of everything. And
All
like,
right. Well,
how much is that?
first,
Can we afford that? I would like that. That looks cool.
first make me a streetwise check. 3 purple, a hard, to see if you're able to find anyone who is willing or capable of making the modifications that you're looking for.
I'm gonna spend
that
a
all of us?
destiny dice.
No, it's Proto's ship. He's the one who wants the upgrades while he's here, so I want him to make the check.
Okay.
So is that
All right.
right? You get 3 purple, correct?
Can I give
Yep.
him a boost for
Yes, you can.
having a? All right, you got a boost because I got black market contacts, so I'll give you a little edge on trying to find somebody. And it wasn't enough.
All right.
As we
With
quote a
that,
nice Star Wars movie or a Star Wars Machina movie, we ain't found shit.
You do find a couple of people that are capable, but with the Imperial presence, they're not willing to do the work.
Well, Proto,
So,
we may have to go somewhere else to upgrade this ship.
Like
there's
they-
no imperial presences there.
They tell you outright that the Empire has
Oh,
prepaid for their services, and that they.
I had a better idea. Why don't we get the hell off the Empire-run world and find a planet that will do this? That's not under Imperial control. I mean, they're still out there. We might be able to get the work done someplace else. Kind of like what we did with my ship, and I got all that other work
Okay,
done,
well,
which was either on I think
So we'll go.
Tatooine or on Cloud City.
it was on best.
Oh.
Sarah will go, okay, well, that's fine. We can do that for the ship, but we need to take something on board with us to keep our cover going. So
we should
what do you
get some
propose?
real.
The crew needs food, don't they? They need food.
Well, yes, we need something a little bit more that can just turn it around and sell it. I'm not worried about that, but we need to figure out something that'll cover it.
Real.
Real?
That's about all we're going to get from this
real
planet.
Spice.
And then we can
Is
sell
there
it to
things for me?
someone to turn it to spice.
All right. Does anybody have any contacts on Ryloth?
We have
How
one.
about the Twi'lek? She's bound to know somebody, right?
Or in Zara pauses, or our 2 new Twi'lek crew members might know something.
The whites, if you guys actually talk to them, the white-skinned Twi'lek, she does know somebody who might be able to help you. It's just whether or not you'll have the money to buy what you need, because she has no clue what your funds or anything like that are.
Okay. So we'll take the information she gives us. I'll thank her for it. And
All right,
so what's the plan, boys? How are we going to get on the ship and get the hell off this planet as quickly as possible?
Well, just standard drill isn't going to cause any problems. It's
Okay.
just an ore. that can be.
I'm not too familiar with it, so
Yeah, standard rill isn't a controlled substance. It's what can be refined from the rill that is a controlled substance.
well, let's meet up with this guy that she gave us information on.
She gives you the information on a company that you can pick that could possibly have some of what you're looking for. It's about a 3-hour speeder ride from where you guys are at.
All right. So do we all want to do this? Does anybody want to stay with the ship?
I'll stay with the ship.
We'll stay with the ship.
Yeah.
All right, I leave
All right.
like joint command between Darius and that hot shot.
Okay.
Oh, that's all right. She can be in full command. I don't need to.
Between him and the gank.
No, yeah. I don't need to be in command. Let the gank do it.
All right. So the gank's left in charge while the three of you take off across the deserts of Ryloth. It takes you about 3 hours to get out to this, well, the four of you, because the Twi'lek goes with you, to get out to where this place is at. And when you get there, you guys get off your speeders and all, or get out of your speeder and head into the main building of this mining camp. She shakes hands with numerous people. She winds up giving a big old hug to this big gnarly Twi'lek male who's like only got one Liku left. The other one's a stump that's all sort of scar tissue at the end of it. And he comes over to you guys. He says, "So, my friend here tells me you're looking for some rill."
That's correct.
How much are you looking for?
Let's go with 4 crates. We can carry that on the speeder we're using, and that'll be enough.
Okay. So 4 crates, large enough to fit in the speeder that you guys have got here, along with you guys fitting in it as well. He walks. He says, "I'm gonna have to see the speeder." He says, "We've got multiple different size crates here." He says, "The real business is quite lucrative."
We don't need a lot. We need a little bit, about that much. And she kind of motions to where the speeder's at.
All right, he looks at it and he comes back to you. He says, "All right, that's gonna cost you about 20 grand."
Is our say 20 grand? Okay. And what will? And she goes, "But I'll pay you 21. We were never here. If anybody comes asking for us."
Okay, I can do that.
And she, goes to shake the hand and complete the deal.
Yeah, he shakes your hand. He gestures over to a couple of his other guys that are here, and they disappear for a few minutes, and a little bit later they come back with a, a sled, and they get your crates loaded up. You guys take off after having a couple of drinks with him, because he insists that you sit and have a drink with him. And you get back into town about well, not 4 hours after you left, so it was a 3-hour drive there. So about 7 hours after you guys had left, you guys return. It's evening. The suns are setting, and I would like for Zara to make a stealth check. 2 purple, 1 red.
Okay. 2 purple, 1 red. Okay.
Yep.
And after
As you are-
last time.
As you are attempting to blend in, because like I said, this is an Imperial run planet.
And we had one already, so I'm gonna use a boost dice to boost me up a bit. And here we go. Oh no!
All right, you have a failure. You do have 3 advantages, so I'll tell you that you are recognized by someone, like, and just one of the instances, like, where you have managed to take your helmet off at some point, like while you were having a drink or whatnot out there with them, somebody there recognizes you and has turned you in as to the Imperials, as to being here.
Okay, does Zara know that they are on tour?
I don't know. You tell me. You got 3 advantages. Did you notice that this guy noticed you, or that he recognized you?
As she turned and was looking, kind of scanning, where she's scanning the area, making sure I'm out of place. Her vision glances over to this gentleman, and she realizes at that moment that her helmet's not on. And in this slow motion, you see as his eyes start lighting in recognition, and she watches as he goes down to push a communication to go talk, and this is all going in slow motion. She turns back around to look forward towards the ship and puts on her helmet and says to the crew, and we come back to the normal speed, and she looks at the crew, Cenarius and Proto, and says, "We've been spotted, boys."
So I just get on my internal comms and calm the ship. Prep the ship for takeoff.
All right, and you get a response back of the affirmative, and that they're gonna begin prepping and all this. You guys begin making your way back to the ship. You return to port, and when you return to port, like when you first got off the ship, I mean, there was an Imperial presence, but it was very minor. When you come back, it's not a heavy presence, but it has increased. So again, I would like this time for whoever out of the group has the better stealth to make the group's stealth check at...
I got 2. So I got 2 green, 1. I got two yellow, one green, and a boost die.
Yeah, that would be you.
Yeah. Plus, I forgot to use this the last roll. I got a standby. Ooh, 3. I don't know, Ray. You got the better one on that.
All right. Well, either way, this time it's one purple and 2 reds.
Okay, Ray's gonna go for it.
Yeah. All right. You guys managed to make it back to the ship without being stopped, and make it past different stormtrooper patrols and whatnot without them realizing that you are the ones that they're looking for. You get on your ship. You get the okays from ground control and all that to take off. And that's where we're going to end our session tonight. The tide change for this session is, what type of trouble has Zara gotten everyone into?
Oh shit. I want to hear your guys' first. I really want to hear this one.
I think because the trials and tribulations of Zara go back a ways, especially in this campaign, and our run-in with Mamoda was so brief that the communique was not necessarily to the Imperials, but actually to a representative of Mamoda's criminal empire.
Okay. So, Mamoda is informed of your current location?
Yeah.
All right.
An agent of Echoes spotted her.
Okay.
So whatever Echo's off doing with the dark side, whoever he has working underneath of him.
That actually kind of works along with some of the stuff I've got planned for later. Okay. So Darius and Zara, what kind of trouble has Zara's appearance gotten everyone in?
I don't know if this is trouble, but a friend of the family spots her.
Ah, okay. All right, Zara?
Okay, this goes back to why originally Zara is in trouble in the very first place with the Empire. This goes way, way back, well before she even met this crew, before she lost her memory, before she got frozen. The Empire have a database on her and her family, and knows that she is the one who kidnapped her youngest brother, Mir, from the Empire, from a secret research laboratory. But she does not remember it at this time. Her memory is still messed up, so this has not come back to her yet. So she is unaware of it. But that's why.
Okay, so this guy was a Imperial informant who, so basically the Empire is going to be after you in the next session?
Yep.
Okay.
for kidnapping, for taking Mir from him.
Alright, so Empire is after the crew for a kidnapping that got Zara in trouble to begin with. Alright, and that is the end of tonight's session. Thank you to our viewers who have been here and watching and popping in and out. And thank you to anyone who decides to watch later. I can't wait to see where this takes off. I had a few other things planned for tonight, but with the way you guys, with the direction you guys took it, it wasn't really going to work. I hope you enjoyed the session. This, I think, has probably been one of the only sessions I've had that didn't have any combat in it. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you guys enjoyed playing. And let's see, today is the 25th. So, what is the date 2 weeks from now? I know it's not the 1st.
13th.
It would be the 8th.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be the
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong calendar.
Alright, so Monday the 8th, we will be back at the same time, same channel. Come watch. Bye, everyone.